Christine. Welcome to Stories I Ate This Month. Stars I Ate This Month. So April is over. I did not read as many books as I read last month. I read 3 books, I watched 5 films, I watched 1 entire TV season. So I ate some stories, I ate some things. Let's get right into it.
Off the hook, but the phone never rang.
So the first book I ate in April was The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy Nelson. Me and this book, it was like insta love. I'd read Jandy Nelson's other book, I'll Give You the Sun, and it's one of my all-time favorite. Amazing. I love the way Jandy Nelson says things. Her usage of words, the way the story falls onto the page. It's so beautiful. I couldn't not write all over it because I loved everything that she says. It's a contemporary. The lead character is a girl in high school and she's just lost her big sister abruptly, unexpectedly, and she is just so overwhelmed with the grief and the shift that this has caused in her life. And she's a musician. I love the role that music plays in the story, and she's got these 2 boys in her life, one being her sister's boyfriend and the other being another musician in her class. It's just so beautifully written. Definitely 5 out of 5 stars. It gets an A for me. The first movie I watched this month wasn't a movie. It was another comedy special, and that was Louis C.K.'s 2017 Netflix special. I've really enjoyed Louis' comedy specials in the past, so I was super excited to watch 2017. I think the first half of this show was so strong. I was laughing my ass off. And my favorite joke was, if you watched it, you know, and it won't spoil it. It's the one about time though. You know what I'm talking about? It was so on point. The second half of the show was still funny, and I don't know if it's because I watched it in 2 chunks and maybe I wasn't in that same like mood, but I just feel like the second half wasn't as strong. I don't know. I think the first half gets an A+ and the second half gets like a B. That averages out as an A-. A-. The next book I read this month is GEEKERELLA by Ashley Poston. It was our book explosion book of the month, so I'm not gonna go into detail here. I loved it. I have a book talk about it. There's an entire live show about it. It's the first live show ever that Kat and Jesse and I have all been in the same room for, so it was super fun. We were all just like in front of one computer. The next movie I watched this month was Power Rangers. I don't know if you were around for the height of the Power Rangers. I was only 3, and it was like the pinnacle of Power Rangerdom. I have this picture from Halloween in my preschool class. Literally the entire class is Power Rangers except for me, who is Belle. There's one princess in a sea of red rangers, pink rangers. I don't know why I remember the Power Rangers so vividly, because I was really little. I was like 3, 4, 5 watching that shit. But like, I had all the action figures. I wanted to be the Pink Ranger because we all did. I wanted to be able to do that cool move she did. I was waiting for the signature move in the movie and it never came. Like, this is why I watched the movie, to see the Pink Ranger do her signature move where she like jumps up in the air and does a straddle kick and kicks 2 people at once. I always thought that was the coolest thing in the world. She didn't do the move. The movie was really bad, in my opinion. Especially the end, where they're like so much robot fighting. I came to see the Power Rangers fight and be like all cool with their karate moves. They were in these machines for like 100 years. It was like watching Transformers. I really disliked Transformers. The dialogue wasn't very good. And I didn't like the way it was directed, like so many canted angles, and I just wasn't a fan. I'm gonna have to give it like a D+. The next thing I read was Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. I got the audiobook for this because I myself was invited to go on the Venice-Simplon Orient Express, which is the train that inspired this. So I've been listening to the audiobook, which is narrated by the guy who plays the Beast from Downton Abbey. I'm really glad I read it at this time so that I could really appreciate the correlation between like what I'm reading and the train that I was on. I have a video going up all about this trip. But the book itself, it didn't capture me the way that I like to be captured in books. I found it really intriguing and I enjoyed listening to it, but it wasn't something that I would want to go out of my way to listen. Dan's voice actually ended up a lot of the time lulling me to sleep. So I'd wake up and have to like rewind the audiobook. I was listening to it on the plane, I was listening to it on the train. I actually listened to it to help me go to sleep while I was in Europe. And that's not to say, again, that I thought it was bad or that I didn't didn't enjoy it. It read like nonfiction to me for some reason. And I guess it's because the whole story is very methodical. There's a murder, and we hear all these details leading up to the murder that's gonna help us solve it. And it felt like a math problem. And I enjoy doing math problems like that. Kind of like geometry. Like you have to prove something. We go through every person on the train and we talk to all of them and ask them the same questions, and we analyze their answers one by one by one. So it's very much felt like that kind of a math problem, except put in a very interesting context. But it's not like a thriller. I can't wait to watch the film that's coming out in November. Everyone is in this cast. There's a whole chapter in this book where it's like Poirot sits down to think, and we sit with Poirot while he thinks, you know? And again, in a detective way, in a math problem way, I'm captivated to read that. But in a I'm running around and I just want to hear a story in my ears way, it's not like fulfilling that part of me. Does this make any sense? A B for how much I enjoyed the actual reading of the book. That was a very confusing review, and I'm sorry. I have a lot of opposing feelings about it. I also really don't like how small the writing is. Like when I tried to read along with the audiobook, it just wasn't happening. It's small and it's also kind of light. This is a very poor edition of it. Get a different edition of this book if you're gonna order it. The next movie I ate this month is actually a rewatch, and I'm so glad I rewatched it. I was just looking for some inspiration. I was feeling very depleted and wasn't getting much done that day. So I opened up HBO Go and I turned on Joy. If you haven't seen Joy, it's the movie with Jennifer Lawrence. This movie didn't get great reviews. I feel like it had around a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes when it came out. But Jen got nominated for an Oscar for good reason for this role. I love this film. It makes me feel so empowered. I'm so proud. I cried every time. I had no idea what it's gonna be about, and I think it's best to go in that way. But when I was watching it in the theater, it was just like magical as we went along, and I started to realize like who this woman was, and that I knew who she was, and I didn't even know that I knew who she was. Like I have her products, and I didn't even know I had her products. I love it so much. Literally, as soon as it was over, I went to Joyce's website and I ordered another one of her products, which I took with me to Europe. It's so cool. My only complaint about this product is it looked red online, and it's definitely pink. What you gonna do? It's a travel case, and all these things come off. Like they're all Velcro, so you could like take this off and take it with you, and you can see into everything. It folds up really nice. This is not sponsored by Joy. I just really love Joy. If you haven't seen it, definitely worth the watch. I give Joy an A. The next movie I ate this month was another rewatch, and that was The Notebook. I rewatched The Notebook on my plane to Europe. It was in the plane selection of movies to watch, and I realized I haven't seen it since I was a proper adult. When you watch things as a kid and then you rewatch them as an adult, you notice some new things, you relate to it in new ways, you just see it differently. And that's been something I've been very much enjoying these past few years, going back and watching things and getting different stuff out of them. Anyway, so I watched The Notebook again. I loved it just the same as I have loved it every single time I've watched it. Obviously this gets an A from me. I also ate a TV show this month. I made a video about it, so I'm not gonna go into detail, but 13 Reasons Why. Excellent. And last, the final film I saw this month was Everything with Nick Robinson, who is now in every Y adaptation ever. Literally, I'm watching Everything, and I'm like, that can't be Jurassic Park Kings of Summer. Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. That's not him, right? It looks like him. Is it him? It was him, just with a little longer hair, a little less under eye concealer. I like that guy. I like him a lot. So Everything is an adaptation of the book Everything by Nicola Yoon. I was invited to an early screening. It was a very intimate movie where we had a really small cast. We were very much concentrated on our two main characters and the romance between them. It felt really raw. It was a rare movie. You know, you usually don't see films where they just let you be with the couple. There are films like that, but a lot of times there's a lot of outside forces and you're seeing a lot of different things, but this was very much concentrated on the development of their relationship and the intricacies that come with that. I really appreciated the way it was done and the way it was edited and the style there. It was adorable. Oh my god, I almost forgot. I read 4 books this month. That's only 1 book less than I read last month. I read 4 books this month, not 3. 4! And I finished a whole new 4th draft in my book Bam! Okay, anyway, so the fourth book I read this month was an audiobook, and it was like my favorite book I read this month. It might be my favorite. I don't know. It was a very different book, and I just really enjoyed it and got a lot out of it. The writing style is very different from a lot of things I've read recently in these past few years, and it was just a very different style story. The Circle by David Eggers. I am so happy I read this. I know a movie is out this month, and I haven't seen it yet, so that'll be in my next month because I'm definitely gonna go see it. I was so excited because it has a great cast, but it's getting very bad reviews, and I understand how this could not translate very well to film. You have to listen to the audiobook. Highly recommend the audiobook. I'm an Audible affiliate if you don't know, so if you sign up for Audible using my link, you get your first audiobook for free, which is awesome. My link's in the description. Anyway, it's a slow build, and it gets more and more intense as you go, and it starts to kind of like, whoa. It's just very thought-provoking. It's very, very well done, and it is very well suited to audiobook. There's, I don't know how to talk about it without really spoiling it. I wouldn't watch the trailer for The Circle before you finish the book. I watched the trailer when I was 3/4 of the way through the book, and then I stopped it. Like, I stopped it like 10 seconds in. I loved the song. It was perfect for the tone.
I'm watching you do-do, do-do, do-do.
This girl who's like 24, she got a job through a friend who works at like a Google. The Circle is like the Google of this book. It's so real, like you could see what's happening in this book happening in our real world, and it just makes you take a step back and kind of reassess the way that you look at I don't want to say. I really liked it. I'm excited. I'm seeing the movie no matter what, like I said. And John Boyega's in it, Emma Watson, Tom Hanks, Karen Gillan, like so many good people. I will let you know about that. In the meantime, definitely listen to the audiobook for The Circle. And definitely gets an A from me. I can't believe I almost forgot to talk about this. It's like I finished the audiobook so early in the month, I just forgot. I thought I was gonna have to put down that audiobook because I was going to stop and listen to the Orient Express, and I couldn't do it. I had to finish The Circle first because like shit got real. I was texting Julia as I went along like, oh my god, just like 10 texts in a row before she answered because she was at work. She just answered like, lol, we'll talk on the phone. And that about concludes the stories I ate this month. There are a lot of films and a lot of books coming out in May. Like so many, I'm not gonna be able to watch and read everything I want to this month. Like I don't even know how to deal with it. I'd love to hear what you thought of any of the stories I talked about this month, or what your favorite thing that you ate this month was. I'm Christine. I make videos every Tuesday. I'm at XTeenMite on Instagram and Twitter if you want to follow me up there. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.